All right. What do I say? I say welcome, ladies and gentlemen, mostly gentlemen. This is This Week in Base Hit. I'm your host, Zubaz, joined, as always, by my co-host, Citizen Clone. Clone, how's your week?
It is pretty good, and I can tell that you still have the energy from the Packers draft night.
Packers did a great job, right? It looked awesome. It looked
That was
awesome.
fun.
It was a cool night one of the draft. Obviously, the draft keeps getting better every year, but man, they really showed out this year. I was excited.
First time it had been there in like 80 something years,
Yeah.
and we got amazing pictures from Aztecs who's there,
Yeah.
and
One blurry photo of somebody's jersey.
but it did look like a lot of fun.
It looked cool. It looked amazing. And I mean, I don't even know how many people were there. Did they say?
It looked yeah, it looked like every
Dude,
every owner. Yeah,
every owner. And
you should have gone
yeah,
up
yeah. I
there.
mean, to think about that pilgrimage that you go up to a town of 170,000 and be in a sea of 170,000 people or whatever it was. They actually tweeted out, the Packers had to tweet out, we can't, like even the parking lot outside was full. So they just told people to stop coming. It was that
Oh, I
crazy.
didn't know that. I
So
didn't
it was
know
pretty cool. Yeah, we're trying to keep the intro short, but I do just have to say, like, how about the balls on Clay Matthews to get up there and say he
that.
has an announcement from the president of the United States, and he opened up an envelope and it just said the Bears still suck.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the best. That's the
Yeah.
best. I love it. So there we go. We're trying to keep it short. Bears still suck. I one last thing I gotta say is this is the only time you're gonna see this. I'm gonna wear a Cubs hat for 1 second because they're in first
Right.
place. They're exciting team. Kyle Tucker, number one fantasy baseball player in the league right now. But screw them. They're the worst. They're gonna end in second place. So it doesn't matter. I'm taking it back off. Clone, over to you. That's it.
Even better to keep the intro
Done.
short. We
Done.
promised an announcement. We put out the announcement yesterday or the day before that weekly contests are almost here. And I've been getting
Just get
responses. But then we put it out there. I think people are excited, but there's nothing for them to do yet. And we're immediately going to have stuff for
yes.
some of them to do, which
Yep.
is Tournament of Champions.
Tournament
Uh,
champions.
which is another thing that people have been asking about for a while.
Launching with the biggest tournament in 2 years with our contests. Uh, Great way to test it on production. We'll see if everything works and the wheels don't fall off. But I do. I can we just start with a couple warnings here that I want to make sure we drill into people's heads. This contest has rules and they're different than the dynasty game, so make sure you read them. Things like you cannot play somebody out of position, or at least you have to draft everybody in position. So make sure that you know you're drafting a catcher that's going to play catcher. Make sure you do that. Also, make sure when you click that finalized team that you're done, because once it's finalized, right? I don't know.
This is the thing we're worried about. We're skipping ahead, but yes, if you we're going to go back and talk about it. If you are
Oh,
in the
sorry,
tournament of champions,
sorry.
if you are in the tournament of champions, and you're going to get into the nitty gritty of registering for the contest, read the rules really hard because we know that the first thing that's going to happen, somebody is going to lock in their team and they're going to come to us and say, "Whoops, I
But I
didn't
didn't
know
mean it.
that. I
I
didn't
didn't
mean it."
know.
And we're going to say, "Tough luck." But uh, all will not be lost then either because we got to talk about the format because we haven't even talked about it.
Okay,
Uh,
sorry, sorry. I didn't mean to jump ahead. I just wanted to start drilling rule reading
yes.
because every contest is going to be different. So make sure you read them every time. That's going to be the fun of it. But
Let's
all right,
go back
all right, go.
first. Talk about Tournament of Champions in the first place.
Yep.
This will be the third one. We did Tournament of Champions in 2022. That was the 2021 season.
Cy Maddox
2023.
won it.
Yep. Who won the second one?
Cristo.
Yep. And then we haven't, and then we skipped last year. So,
Yep.
and those two were very manual. They were very different experience. Something that we just think it's fun to have contests that are outside the norm. We wanted to reward people that have done well on the site and that are loyal players. it was also we introduced people to the redraft idea. A lot of people that hadn't done it before. So that was exciting.
Yep.
Um, and we had a really good time, the people that did it. But
Yep.
there were also people that didn't do it because it was over a 2 month commitment. Uh, there was only 32 invitees, and I would not say it was all inclusive. Plus, yeah, it kind of could take the oxygen out of the room for two something months. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yep.
but even back then when we did it the second time, I had said we were going to revamp the format, and now we're talking about it. So as promised, we are bringing back tournament champions, but it's going to be different this time. We're going to make up, or we're going to be pulling. Sorry, you talk for a second. I'm getting too excited here. I'm getting
Yeah,
too
no, I'm
excited.
I'm excited about it too. And like the idea behind Tournament Champions is for it to be a little bit different every time. And this time it's special because it's inaugurating contests that are going to be happening every week in perpetuity. And so like I do agree with your idea of like let's launch it with a bang. Like let's have the ribbon cutting with the Tournament Champions and roll right into it. So
You get
I think
your, I
that's
mean,
good.
it's maybe it won't feel that way it's a challenge for people, but it's also you're gonna get first access if you're in the group.
Yep.
Uh, so talking about the changes this time, uh, from last time, we're going to have 64 competitors instead of 32. So we're expanding that. Um, and we're having how long it takes. So it's going to be done in about 3 weeks instead of over 2 months.
There you go.
And I haven't talked to you about it. So the plan is that
This is the
we're
first time
going
I'm
to,
hearing this.
yeah.
Yep.
So we're going to run weekly contests, our salary cap survivor contest that you can watch the other announcement, read about it. We'll talk about plenty. We'll run 2 different weeks of those. Uh, and the finalists,
So like two heats, two separate like
two different heats.
yep,
Yep.
okay.
And if you make and the refresher, if you hadn't watched the other stuff, you try to make it through the week. Every day there's games played. We eliminate the lowest teams. You advance. If you make it to Friday, you've pretty much been the finalist. The finalists from the first heat, the finalists from the second heat will be put together kind of into the final table, and we'll do a third week. That's the final.
How many
Uh,
people are in the final?
uh, well, because of ties, I can't even remember, but let's say 10. I
Okay, it's
think
gonna be
I
like
think
10 people. Okay. All right. And then they go
so.
that week and then get sliced off each
Yep,
day until
and the
there's the
winner is
last
the
two that
winner.
play at the last day.
Yep, and prize for the winner is $250.
Whoa,
The
I did
cooler,
not agree to that. This is the first time I'm
cooler, the
hearing
cooler
this.
thing is
I gotta
you
pay that.
get a really nice ring that maybe we could find pictures of the rings from Psy
Yeah.
and Crystal. I think those are very cool.
They both have legitimate rings that we had made. So they're walking around wearing championship rings. Cy does wear his. I don't know if Krista does.
Yeah, I don't know either. Christo gets an automatic invite. I was also part of the. Oh, I should talk about who's going to be in this too. So Christo is going to be in it, and then 63 other guys. We'll send out invites and get people to
Wait,
accept.
Cy doesn't get an automatic invite?
Uh,
It's
Side
just
is not.
it's
I
just
think
the last winner gets one. Oh, okay. Got it. Got it.
that was what I had said.
I mean, Cy might be probably will be in anyway.
I think he is, but
Yeah,
who knows?
yeah.
I
We shouldn't say names.
shouldn't commit to it. But anyway, but the
I know
criteria.
one guy that's in it, 7-time world champion.
The criteria that I had put out that's still out there, if you're trying to remember. So we're doing the last 2 years of data, of guys that have been playing on the site. You scored points if you won a World Series. If it was a 24 team league, you get like a point. I'll find where it is. And if it was a smaller league, you got less points, but you still got some points. Uh, we take your top four league total so that to give more people a chance so that you couldn't just stuff the
Run
ballot
up,
box.
yeah, run up
By,
the
yeah.
score. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then there was anti-tanking in there, which is designed to give a little nudge to the world, which is if there's some penalties if you get, it was really just minor. If you got last place in leagues, there'd be a penalty. And I think and if you got last place in a smaller league, it's a smaller penalty. But those are the criteria. I need to run the data again, but I have the list that ranks everybody that won World Series in the last 2 years.
How did I
And I'll put,
rank?
I don't remember. I told you at the time. I know you did qualify. You're in there, and I am not in there. But I'll put that list out soon,
All
and
right, that's exciting.
if maybe some people will be unhappy. Hopefully, people will be very happy. Who knows? Maybe some people won't care.
I want to
But
win so bad. I don't even care what people will say. I don't even care. I want to win so bad. So come
if
and beat me. I dare you.
to clarify, we're letting this guy, I should point over there,
Yeah.
Ubaz can compete in this, but he cannot get the prize.
I can win.
We're still giving away the prizes no matter what. So
Mm,
might have to go to second place.
mm, we'll see.
Well, yeah, we'll
We'll see
see.
how much I beat him by.
But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I'm gonna put that list out. I will be sending out invites, and then it will be time for people to start signing up. We're gonna get this started next week, sending out the invites. If you have made it, congratulations, and I hope that you will get signed up and join us for it because it'll be fun. It's
Hey,
a fun thing to just do something different.
it's going to be so much fun, and that's why you can sense my excitement. I just want to say right now how I think it should be. Now, I know I'm jinxing myself right now, but let's say I win. What I think should happen is I get the ring, but then second place gets the cash prize. How about that?
It's something to
We'll
be fought.
discuss it offline. I want the ring. I want to win, and I
Okay.
want people to
Figure it
want
out.
to beat me. All right,
Uh,
we can move on.
definitely people should want to beat you. Um,
They can't.
but yes, so I'm going to be sending out invites, 64 guys. Hopefully, everybody. It's not the part of this format is it's not hard to do. You go in, you're gonna a refresher on this. You get to pick your team, um, as long as you're gonna have the same pool of players that everybody else does, and you can pick your team however you want it. You just got to stay under the salary cap. There's some like limited. There's some requirements like you got to have 9 position players. You got to have 5 pitchers. After that, you could have scrubs if you want. If you want to go, if you don't want to care about you
Bench
have a bench, you don't want to care about
relievers.
your bullpen, whatever
Yeah.
else. You have to play. People are not going to be played out of position, like we said, because maybe that's my just personal preference. But you got to make choices. You can't. Sometimes people have gotten used to that strategy of everybody can play everywhere, and that's not what this is. You got to make a choice who your
Yep.
third baseman is, who your shortstop is, um, and
And it adds so much to how you calculate the salary. Like you have to make sacrifices through this whole thing. And when Clone says you can have scrubs, you don't actually select the scrubs. And I think this is important because I don't want people to get confused. If you leave any position blank, once you finalize, a 30 across the board scrub shows up. So be
yeah,
careful. Make sure that you have everything assigned that you want assigned.
a crappy guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can talk about this more. So we've done some testing, and we've learned it. The seasons. I shouldn't be assuming that everybody's watched the other video, but they're short every day. It's going to be 54 game batch of games that are played against the same opponents,
Computer
and
opponents.
computer opponents. The computer opponents will be different. You'll be able to look at them. There'll be different focus. Some days they'll be like high finesse pitchers. Some days they'll be high power pitchers. There'll be slugging team, whatever. You can adjust how you want for that day.
But every
plan
human
out a
player
bunch of
plays
them.
against the same computer players and has
Yeah.
the same schedule. It's just the batch of computer players change. I just want to make that clear to
Oh
everybody
yeah, yeah.
that, yeah,
Monday you might be playing against the slugging teams. Tuesday you might be playing against whatever else.
yep,
But everybody's got the same puzzle in front of them to try to figure out.
that's a good way of
And
putting it.
um and you got to decide what's important. Like I some people were saying like they didn't even look at the opponents. They uh just pick the best team that you possibly can, and maybe that's good and maybe it's not. I got a funny feeling that paying a little bit more attention is gonna pay off. I tried out when we were testing, I tried out like no depth teams and just putting all my money into starters because I was curious if I could get behind that, and it didn't go that well. So a suggestion that maybe you should consider having some depth in there. Also, what else? People are going to see the pitching endurance is going to be lower than you're expecting. We have for the regular game, there's kind of limits on how low that can go, and those limits are not on there now because same
Hmm.
thing. We want there to be tough choices on yeah, how much you think a guy can play, how much yeah, how you're going to plan out your bullpen. What else? What else? There's so much to talk about. Um, we'll talk about it. We'll give little strategy tips because people haven't tried it out. You'll get strategy tips from the other guy because I have not done well and he has won in tests. I don't know what else you've learned. But we've tried out different things. There's I don't know. Part of why this is exciting too is because we everybody hasn't played it, and I think there's just the tendency in the normal game that there's strategies that we've all arrived on over time, or personal strategies that we've arrived on that we end up using a bunch. And this is going to be a new time to figure out new strategies and learn stuff really fast. And it's going to be exciting to see where that goes. And it'll be tough. And that's what, in my opinion, tournament champions should be, is you're supposed to be good at this game. So you got to deal with the tough thing, with the
Yeah,
challenge.
yeah. And I mean, I would just say the most important thing is read the rules and click on everything because you might because one thing that is different than the dynasty game for sure is you have to set your team up that it can just perform for 54 games. You don't get to make changes during those intermediate times. You get to make changes between rounds, but it's going to hit that 54 block of games all the same. And so you want to make sure that your bullpen set up for success, that you are checking your EN around the days off on that schedule because there may or may not be days off. I don't know how Pullen's going to set it up. And if there's not days off, you better be sure that your pitching rotation and your toast and your fatigue and all of that is set up to just perform as well as you think it can during those times. Also, make sure that the bench players that are going to come off the bench, make sure you set your depth chart and have, players that can come in and cover those low end guys in those cases. All the stuff that I don't think is a surprise to anybody, but I see people make those mistakes all the time. Like really give this some thought. And then to your earlier point, I would definitely look at those opponent teams. Because if you look at the week and it's all pitching changes versus hitting changes, like that's going to totally upend the way that you probably design your team, in my opinion. So,
You're probably right. Again, I have not done that well in this yet, so you're probably right, and I need to pay more attention to this. I've been busier trying to set it up and not actually figuring out. I haven't figured out my own strategy yet, but I do know, yeah, it's an adjustment. We did lineup lockdown a few years ago, which was similar that you would get a team. There's differences, but it was the same idea of setting up a team that you couldn't change during the rounds. And there's some important differences in that from the regular game in that again you get used to rotating your pitching rotation. You're not going to be able to do that. You gotta have them set up.
yeah,
um
you may
that
not be able to run a 4-man rotation because of the EN of the
they're not gonna
pitchers that
they're
you
not
have
gonna
choices
allow you
from.
to. I'm not
Or
going to
oh,
allow
you're
him
not
to
going to
do
allow it
that.
even. Yeah, so I mean that's definitely something that. And then I'll give you another, which is probably the biggest tip of all, is because the pitcher's EN is lower, you really need to give thought about what bullpen pitcher is most likely to come in what situations. And so you know, well, I don't want to overstate it, but I mean, depending on how you do it, your middle relievers or your setup guys could be more important than each other.
Yeah.
Depend,
Hopefully
yeah.
this will lead to lots of strategy discussions, or maybe it'll be, who knows? Maybe everybody will be hiding their strategies from
I just hid
behind.
one if you didn't notice.
He didn't want to say anything else. Uh, anyway,
I
so
stopped
we talked
myself
about it
from
a bunch.
saying my real tip.
So by the time this video comes out, I hope that I will have I should be ready to send out the invites to people, have the signups ready to go, have the standings for the entries there for people to look at. So we're going to be ready to dive into this right away. Um, it's happening. It's happening. There's no turning back. And again, if it's multiple weeks, so the first week, if you stink, then you get a second chance. You get a second bite at the apple to try to make the finals.
Oh, so
And
if you lose in the first heat, you get to participate in the second heat. You're not splitting the
yeah, no,
participants.
everybody's in the first heat. Everybody's in the second heat. The finalists from the first one,
Oh,
finalists from the second one
I'm glad you
will
explained that. That's not how I understood it the first time. I thought they were two separate things. Oh,
uh they're two separate things, but I mean everybody gets to be in both. So
yeah, yeah.
everybody's got two chances to try to get to the finals. Yep.
Cool.
Um and what else do we have to say about this? Oh, and then the plan. We will see. My hope, I don't know if it's really going to happen or not. My hope would be that during that third week, we would be ready to also run a public contest for everybody at the exact same time. But maybe it'll be the week after that. But anyway, either overlapping with this at the end or right after it, our weekly contests are going to go live for everybody. So I hope people get excited. I hope people will play. This is going to be people are going to hear a lot about it, and it's just fun. And I haven't talked to you about it, but I like these like meta contests or whatever, and we're going to be doing this. It's not just going to be yearly. Once we get these things going regularly, we're going to be doing quarterly contests where how you're doing in the contests. There's going to be standings for like, a batch of 13 weeks or whatever. And the top guys will go into a contest and maybe we'll
I
get some
hope you're not
more.
overcommitting yourself to something
No,
in this
no,
video because it's going out to the public. They will demand this now
I
that you
didn't
said
say
it.
prize money, but there's going to be prize money on the quarterly
There's
ones
not
too.
going to. All right. Well,
Anyway.
too late.
Okay.
All
That's
right.
it.
That's it.
You got
So
me revved up about the Packers. And then anyway,
contests, tournament champions, the Bears and the Cubs still suck. I think we've said all that needs to be said here. That's it. Get ready. Contests are coming. They're going to change the whole way base hit works. And that more on that next week. And until next week, this is this week in base hit. All right. What do I say?